Alrighty, so for our hands-on, as we've been doing, you're going to work on your project zero. Okay, you're going to do a 10-page sprint. Okay, so if you've not heard this term, I think we actually may have used this term in the course before, but it's kind of a focused, like, let's just head down, get something done. And again, the more we work ahead here, the better. Okay, because this is a big project, and if you work on it some every week, it actually is just you work on it, and then it doesn't feel so overwhelming. So in addition to 10 pages, remember we have 12 at the end, you're also going to add a sitemap, and I'll show you an example in a minute. Okay. So this is a big week. We're moving from a single concept to a fully 10-page site, right? This phase tests your attention to detail. So true. Specifically, how to handle the navigation across multiple files. Now, this is why we built out that skeleton file. Okay. So one thing I would do here, right, is before I started working on building the pages that are going to have, I would then make sure I go through that skeleton and have the menu, because we did this last week. If there's any changes you have to that menu, now is the time to make it, okay, before you start building out pages. Now, even if you have to change it, you can go back and do it. It just means that you'll have to touch any page where you've modified content on that skeleton. So the first thing you would do is take that skeleton, right? Whatever that menu is, like whatever that nav or whatever other content you've changed, right? And then you would I would first update my index file, right? My main file. So here's an example for mine. Right, so once I got there, once I determined here are my three topics that I'm going to focus on, right? Three to six. These are single pages, so I'm not going to count those necessarily as part of my menu. So first thing I would do is update this index. Now, if I had time, I might do other changes to it. You're not required to do that now, but the more, again, you can do, the better this is going to be. So I would first start with my index file, make sure my index file is the way I want it to be, and then I would create each of those landing pages. Now, the about's pretty easy. There's nothing on there, but the passions, the family, the sustainability, for me, they're going to have sub pages underneath there. Okay. So I build it. I create the page. Now, in this case, and I was looking at this, it says ensure the content is unique for each page. Here's what I would say. If you have time, do that. What I'm going to grade on this one is, did you get these 10 pages both created, right? So, and this is where you name them specific to what they are. And you'll see what I mean by that in a minute. You don't just name things like 1, 2, 3, like page 1, page 2. What you want to do is the page name, the file name needs to reflect what the topic is, because that's an important piece for search engine optimization and just for organization. Okay. So now you're also going to create this sitemap, okay? And I'll show you mine in a minute. Now you're going to use your template design when you do this, right? So this page, and we're going to actually end up putting this on your footer, okay? So this page should list every page in your project zero with a working link. Okay, so what this does is it gives us an easy way to see all the pages. Did you get all 10 done? Are they correctly linked? Is the menu itself correctly linked on each one? And then did you add it to the footer? And again, I'll show you my example in a minute. Okay, so now you only have one commit here. Okay, so it's not like you have to pay special attention there, get them all done, right? And then you'll share your URL out like we've been doing. Okay, and then you want to do before we move there, let's actually go look. So here's mine, and then in my footer, right? So down here, then I have my sitemap, and again, the sitemap still follows the design, but what I'm doing here is I have my menu pages, right? And so these are actually then linked. I have links to sub pages there, right? So by building this out, now I just used a UL here. I think I'm pretty sure an ordered list. Yeah. So an unordered list and then LIs for this, right? So we've learned how to do that. So how do you create your sitemap page? You just take your skeleton, you copy it into a new, so you create a new file, right? You name it. Remember, when naming files, very important. lowercase, no spaces, right? So that's part of what I will look for as well. And then I will first, and this will be the other thing, and this is what we're doing for each other, is we're actually looking at, once you share it, did you do the linking correctly, right? So and this is where we help each other kind of figure out, hey, did you have something that didn't work here? Because it can very well happen at this point in your project. So this would be like if somebody was looking at mine, they might come into a link, okay? And they would look at that and go, "Oh, you know what? Okay, you know what? You don't have any content here." And I'd be like, "Okay, I understand I did that. I'm okay with that. But if it was broken, you definitely want to report that, right? Like, here's one of my menu pages. Oh, yeah, that one looks good." And then I would go through and maybe click through. Oh, yeah, I see some more Laura Mipson. So, this is where you just help each other out by going through and see, actually, I see on this one, I don't have. So that's where you can help somebody. It's like, oh, you know what? Let's see if I did the same thing. Oh, I did, right? So in this case, you want that sitemap linked on all your pages, right? So this page should be listed in I'm sorry, this is actually all the pages, right? Oh, actually, I did say only in the index, but ideally every other page too as well. So I guess I'm going to pull back from that last requirement. As long as you have it in the index for now, right? I'd be okay with that. And I guess that's ultimately what I realized I had done here. But ultimately, honestly, I would have put it on all pages, just as again, a more search engine friendly way. But I'm going to be okay for now. And I'll think about if we're going to change that in the final one. Because, that's where putting in your skeleton would be helpful. So now that I'm thinking through it, I'm like, okay, you know what? I'm going to leave it that way. Because if I was to make that a requirement, I'd want to do that right now. So here's what I would do. I'd make it optional if you want to do that. Otherwise, at minimum, it has to be on the index page. That way somebody can move through, because that's what you all are going to be doing for each other, is actually going through and checking the links to make sure they're there. Okay, so post your URL. I notice I didn't provide it here. Hopefully by now everybody knows what it is, because it's the P0 under our public repos. Give people feedback, right? So this is the points you get for doing those, and then 20 points for putting it. Again, I've changed my mind. I said all of them, but I've decided only in the index file. I'll look at your one commit and then do a walkthrough, right, for testing somebody. So when you do this, make sure, if possible, I know there's not a lot of people in this class, but make sure if you can, if somebody doesn't have a reply, do that for them, because this is a great step, very helpful step to have, where you build out these 10 pages. All right, thanks, and I'll talk to you later.